B-O-A-B, baby, we're bums.
29th of September.
29th.
We're just driving out of Colorado and the view was amazing, so we just had to pull over and capture this. So we left at 6:45 this morning and we're starting our way back to Washington. I was just trying to catch you sleeping. Good timing. We drove back to Washington State so we could leave Michael's car with her parents. Of course, we helped out around the farm a bit before catching a plane to Alaska. Nice work. This was the beautiful Airbnb that was rented for the week.
Ah, love is in the air.
Everyone in these.
Everybody in.
He's like, dude, he goes, I've been doing this for
Whatever you want.
You're fine. Real
Pretty sure.
Yeah, where we,
Okay. Oh, I need to take my camera off.
We stayed in Fairbanks, Alaska, and on the day of the wedding, drove an hour and a half to Chena Hot Springs. And if you ever do get the opportunity to go here, I would highly recommend it. We had a relaxing time before the big ceremony. So I would say the temperature right now is 20 degrees outside, 25.
Probably close to 20.
And this water is about 90. It's perfect combo.
90 is all?
Maybe 100.
Paul Leonard, friend of bride and groom for about 15 years, since I first saw Maria hitting golf balls in the rain at Hayden Lake Country Club. And yeah, watched him meet, watched him become friends. Then one day I was like, hey, I think that's a little bit more than just friends going on there. And now we're here to watch him get married, and we're super excited.
Found the first hot spring.
He's like, yeah, I could walk on this water if I wanted to. I just don't want to show off. Yeah.
At night, we squeezed into the Snowcat and climbed the mountain. Having exchanged their vows and rings in our presence, Tony and Maria have in fact pronounced themselves husband and wife. Tony, you may now kiss the bride. Ow, ow. Denali National Park right now, and we are watching the sunset. We just got a glimpse of Denali, far away, the highest peak in the North Americas.
It's peeking out through the clouds, finally.
Okay, Tones. We've had a lot of questions, people just curious as to what happened. So this is a great opportunity to, I guess, start with why did you leave the boat? So if you can put yourself in that time in Key West,
Yeah.
what was going through your head?
For me, the boat was never about like a certain destination or being on there for a certain amount of time. The whole reason I wanted to do the boat was there were certain experiences that I wanted to have. And once I had those experiences, I was ready to move on. It wasn't like I didn't have a goal that I wanted to, sail all through the Caribbean.
What were the experiences? Maybe some of them you might not be able to think of all.
It's hard to put them in words, but there was like something I was looking for. Is everything all right?
Well, I just noticed the camera's a little tilted.
Uh,
So what were some of the experiences that you
Like,
You
even
wanted-
going in, I didn't really know. I couldn't tell you what they were, but I knew them when I'd have them. I knew them when I'd feel them. But even going into the boat, I didn't really know what they were. The only one for sure that I wanted to do that I knew was to like spend a day on an uninhabited island with nobody. Just spend the day by myself out there. And whatever that experience brought, all the thoughts and emotions and feelings. And we did that.
was a third world country
Third world country was
or
another one.
experiencing a different culture?
Yeah.
Eye opening.
Yeah, that was another experience that I wanted. I was kind of... people had always told me how good we had it in the United States, but I didn't want to believe anybody. I had to go see it for myself. And so Cuba was another big experience that I wanted to have, where I actually got a chance to be there firsthand and witness just a different life, and to see how a different ideology turns into a different living system. So, and then experiencing that, and then of course on the sail over, having the near-death experience and experiencing a storm and getting really close to God or death or whatever you want to call it.
Something else you think you were looking for
Yeah, I
in
think
hindsight?
that was the main thing. I think I needed to feel. I needed something to give me a really deep appreciation for what I had, because I didn't have it going in. But once I had it, once I had the appreciation from the storm, my experience on the island, my experience in the third world, those were what I was looking for. And I knew when we were sailing back from Cuba that I had gotten everything out of that experience at that moment. It wasn't
For you.
For me
that
personally.
you could get out of it.
hmm Yeah, I mean, we could go other places and we can go farther and deeper and travel, to different countries and everything. But I got what I wanted out of it, And I think that's how I looked at the boat in general for all of us. Is we all had things we wanted to get out of it. We had a common goal, relatively common goal. We had a relatively common direction, but we all had different things that we wanted to get out of it.
Now that you're not on the boat, and it's really not much a part of your life right now, do you regret making that decision?
Leaving the boat?
To go, to leave and get on the boat, or do you feel?
Oh no.
Do you regret that, or do you feel like it's important to where you're at now, even though you appear to have chosen no life at this moment, including boat and all of that? It would appear like, well, maybe then you wasted that time.
No,
Because
definitely not.
you're not. It doesn't appear like you're doing anything.
No, don't regret it one bit. And I wouldn't be able to be living the life I'm living now had I never done that. I'd still be searching. I'd still have those things, those burning desires inside of me that I had to go explore, and I had to go do it for myself. I would never be able to be in a relationship with a partner because I had too many things that I personally wanted to do still. And if I didn't do the boat, I'd end up getting in a relationship where I wouldn't give everything I have, because there's still a part of me that wants to go do certain things for myself. You know, I wasn't ready to give of myself because I had still stuff I wanted to do. And so I don't regret it one bit, no. Even if the boat sunk and, you know, we lost everything a couple months in, I still wouldn't regret it. Not one
And
bit.
we would tell ourselves that all the time, and I think that's something people didn't know, is we really didn't know how far we'd make it. And, you know, it was likely that the boat could sink and this whole thing could be over many times. But all of us, I think that's what kept us going, was we knew that that wasn't a make or break.
Right.
It wasn't about getting to a destination, or it wasn't about, you know, successfully making 1,000 miles or 2,000 miles. None of that really mattered. It was about just giving it your all, acting on what you feel inside, and seeing where that leads. It was all about seeing where it leads and accepting wherever it led.
I think the thing that drove me was, and what made the boat so awesome, was something that we came up with that nobody else told us what to do, told us how to do it. There was no direction towards this. There wasn't any guidance from counselors or parents. You know, it was totally organic and totally us.
And even more, I'd say even more, not only was there no guidance, but there was almost resistance.
100%.
Whenever you kind of talk about this idea, there was obviously not support, and there was actually the opposite, where it would be like criticism and resistance and what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, but that's kind of what made the whole thing special, and that's another thing that I wanted to do, was see it through. I wanted to see it through, and the few things that we did have commonality that we wanted to do, I wanted to make sure I saw those things through. And like you said, we didn't have a goal of we're going to sail 10,000 miles or 1,000 miles, or we're going to go through these things. I mean, the main thing we wanted to do was we wanted to go see a third world country. We wanted to own a boat that worked, that we could sail ourselves. We wanted to live on anchor. And those were all things that we came up with on our own. You know, that was what was special about the boat. And like what I took from it is you can have your own individual way of doing things, even if it's separate from everything else that you've ever been told culturally, or from your parents, or from your teachers, or from whatever. And if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen. You know?
This view may look familiar to some of you. We are in Florida, back at Joyce's, where this adventure all began, and we're 1 week away from flying to the Dominican Republic. We have been doing a lot of work recently on the website. It's not going well, but we'll figure it out. But really, we're excited to get back to the boat and start all the projects. We're going to be pulling the boat out of the water. God only knows what other projects are going to come up during this whole thing. The boat's been there for 5 months. We have had confirmation that the boat's doing well, so that's good. But we really can't wait to get back to the boat. Thank all of you for following along through the period that is not really boat related. I know it's not been all of you. Most of you have fallen off. And hey, but we can't wait to get back to boat life.
These are the tales of Boab.